Hi, I'm Mark Polton. I'm a real estate investor here in the greater Charlotte, North Carolina area. I call myself the no frills, no thrills real estate investor. Not going to find a big fancy car in my videos, or I won't be shooting them from a very nice, posh, well decorated office. Today, I'm sharing my thoughts on taking responsibility for your actions. So, when I was young, I blamed all of my problems on other people, other things, outside forces. I never took responsibility for my actions. It was always somebody else who was bringing me down or somebody else who was preventing me from success. I carried this on into the Army a little bit and, you know, into my professional life when I started out in computers. And it wasn't until I remember where I was. I was in a Robert Half International. I was in their waiting room to talk to a recruiter, and it just dawned on me that nobody's going to give me anything. That if I want something, I'm going to have to go out there and get it, and I'm going to have to do it. And that little revelation before I talked to this particular recruiter, started a transformative process in my life. Let me kind of tell you a little bit about how I got there. So I was in Tampa, Florida. I had just started out my computer career. My first job I was making $8 an hour. Loved that job, and that was really good money to me. And then I got another job making $10 an hour, and it didn't last very long. I made some poor decisions, and I was let go. And I was in between jobs, and to make a long story short, a friend of my father's had called, and he was in the Philadelphia area, and he's like, he and I started talking, and he was like, "Come up here, you'll make $50 an hour." Now, bear in mind, I was making $10 an hour, and he's talking about $50 an hour in my early 20s, and I'm like, nobody makes that much. I don't even know somebody who makes $50 an hour. And he's like, "Well, come up here, you can stay with me for a couple weeks, and we'll get you a job." It was, right Y2K was starting to ramp up. So I hopped in my 1988 Honda Accord, 2 weeks worth of clothes, $24,000 in credit card debt, and I drove from Tampa, Florida to Philadelphia, never having really been in the Northeast in anything other than a military base. I remember the day I got there, it started snowing, and you know, long story short, 3 weeks later, I was making $40 an hour working for WSFS Bank, and I got that through this Robert Half International recruiter, who, when he actually met me, um, would not let me leave until he found me a job. And it was a very humbling and a very awesome experience that somebody could see the potential in me. And believe me, I'm very good at computers. I just needed somebody to see that and place me in an organization where I can thrive. And I did well. I made some bad decisions there, but it was a jump start into the other companies that I ended up working at, and really kickstarting my computer career. So let's get back to talking about taking responsibility for our actions. You know, you got to take responsibility for your actions, and you got to take responsibility for the way your life turns out, even if it was out of your direct control. It doesn't matter that your contractor hired somebody and they screwed something up. It doesn't matter that another department didn't inform you of some piece of information and you failed, or you weren't successful in being able to complete your project on time and under budget. You have to take responsibility for those situations. Yes, I guess you could say the direct causation might have been from somebody else, but you could have made different decisions. You could have been more responsible. You could have followed up more. You could have supervised better. You could have researched more. There's actions that you could have taken to mitigate, if not prevent, that situation from happening. And the flip side to taking responsibility for your actions, and outcomes, is that you must learn from those actions or lack of actions and outcomes. If another particular group in your department or another person is sabotaging you on purpose, or whatever, you probably did something to make that situation happen. You need to develop procedures. You need to develop plans. You need to develop processes to prevent that from happening in the future. Same thing goes in life. In this real estate business, I am responsible for everything that happens. It doesn't matter if the tenant got hooked on drugs and starts destroying the house. It's my responsibility. It doesn't matter that I tell them time and time again not to leave their garbage cans out, more than a day. If the city comes by, they're going to find me. It's my responsibility, and I have to take actions, and I have to have processes in place to prevent that. I can tell you this: that if you start taking responsibility for your actions and your outcomes, your life is going to start changing dramatically. You're going to have a massive shift in mindset. You're going to start looking at things differently. And you're going to start analyzing situations for potentiality of where can it fail? How can I prevent that from failing? Where can I get the knowledge? And how do I document that knowledge so that in the future I don't have that problem again? Anyways, I hope you go out and you live the "you won't stop me" lifestyle, because I can tell you that you aren't going to stop me. Doesn't matter if you take everything away from me, you're not going to stop me. And I hope that you find success.